Good morning, beloved community, and happy Labor Day weekend. I was thinking about that, just like what has been my labor or what has been my work, and I think there's a great quote about work as love made manifest. And so any of us who have had work or a job that we really loved, which I definitely have, this is a day that I celebrate. And I celebrate all of you who are out there, doing the good work, whatever that looks like for you. And today I just want to welcome you here to the Center for Spiritual Living in Ukiah, California, knowing that this is a blessing for us and for the world. And what I know right now is that somewhere today, in the talk, in the treatment, in the music, you will receive the answer that you have been looking for, that you have come specifically here for. So with that, I just invite you to take a deep breath, lean back, and our opening treatment today is by Gail Rhodes.
Thank you, Candice. Thank you, everyone who's here. Thank you, everyone who's on Zoom. And as Candice said, that deep breath, I love that Jack one time when he was practitioner said, open your chest. That feels really good. Just be open to know, as Candice said, that you are here for a reason. And that reason is to expand your spiritual nature. We know that there is only one thing, and that thing is God, and it is always with us. Whether we choose to recognize that in each and every moment is absolutely our choice. That is why it is called co-creation. And today, because we have made that choice to be here, to hear what we need to hear, to enjoy the message and the music and each other, we are co-creating intentionally, not by default. That is our desire to, as much as possible, create intentionally. So for today, our intention is to recognize that we are spiritual beings living in a universe full of spirit. So we move through this day with ease and grace and consideration for all beings, for our planet, for ourselves. Indeed, we are gentle with ourselves as we are gentle with everyone else we come into contact. So we release this to the one mind, knowing that as it is spoken, as it is thought, it is already so. So we claim it, we are grateful for it, and as we say together, and so it is so.
So it is.
Thank you, Gail. That was great. That was exactly what I needed to hear. So now it's time for our special music, and we're going to be enjoying a song from Calvin Johnson. So Calvin, take it away.
O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my loving God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my loving God, to thee. How great thou art, great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art.
Well, Victoria and I know that one. That was one when we were growing up, they took a lot of Christian hymns and metaphysicalized them. And Calvin, that was maybe the best I've ever heard it. It was just beautiful. And thank you so much. Okay, well, guess what? I'm the speaker today. And so here I am again, giving my last talk. I know that you kind of you knew that you've known for a long time, but my first talk, when I came back to do the virtual services, was the first Sunday in September 2020. And so made an announcement in January, because when I saw that this was going to be longer term than I had expected, I said, well, I'm giving you a year, so this is my last Sunday. But what I've seen in this congregation, regardless of a lot of other stuff I might talk about today, I've seen a real willingness to continue and to move forward. So we're just going to see how that works out for us. I'm still going to be here, and we'll talk about that also a little bit in the talk. But right now, what I guess I want to say is, I know that you will indulge me as I make an attempt to be open, to be honest, and maybe a little sideways as I work myself through what I might say today. This has been, and get ready because I'm gonna say it, this has been a very challenging year for me. I know that that's true for probably everybody that's listening on one level or another. There has been stuff, both personal, not just around our center, but just what's happening in our lives, and not always pandemic related. Others within our congregation, and including myself, have dealt with family members or even sometimes ourselves with illness and senses of isolation and depression and all kinds of things. So I just want to call it what it is. It's hard.
Yep.
Yeah, I got some affirmation in here. And it has also, therefore, from my observation, been a very challenging year for everyone, including all of us here at CSL Ukiah. And not always for the same reasons, but definitely we have stuff in common. It's been a challenge. So I just wanted to say, I know a lot of you know, because occasionally some of you respond. I've been posting a question every day on my Facebook page, just to kind of keep connected, and it's really been fun for me because I get responses from lots of people, like all over, and it's just been really fun. But last July I posted a question, and this was the question: how do you handle serious setbacks? And you could add a couple of things like, well, I haven't really had a setback, but so how do you handle serious setbacks / adversity / big changes in your life? How do you handle that? And I wanted to share an answer, and I'm actually going to read most of this, that came from a friend of mine, dear friend of mine, I've known for a long time, and his name is Rick Daniels, and he is a practitioner, and his wife Sharon was she's an assistant or an associate minister down in the Fremont area. So anyway, Rick responded to my question like this. You start, keep pushing. However, it occurred to me that I may have a subjective belief running that says my self-worth is determined by my ability to handle adversity, and I am therefore attracting opportunities to prove my self-worth. Anybody? I mean, that's so rang. It just hit me right here, and I'm like, oh no. He went on. So here's a couple other kind of points that he made. One, the first one is this. Now that I have become aware of the possibility that I believe such a concept, I say welcome to the idea that I may believe my self-value is measured by my ability to handle adversity. I welcome all memories, thoughts, feelings, conversations, and decisions tied to this idea. I welcome any wanting to do anything about it, including wanting to fix it, change it, control it, deny it, hold it close, or push it away. Study or investigate it further. And I thought, well, that too is kind of, because that tends to be our knee jerk. When we are in some kind of adversity, we go, oh, well, now I have to do this. And whether it's a push or a pull or whatever. And he says, well, let's just welcome that. Let's not fight it. Let's not argue with it. Let's just welcome that. And I thought, that's pretty good. Then he said, and he had 3 or 4. I'm only going to share 2 with you. And the second one I want to share with you is he said this. And finally, I may also be entertaining the concept that when I am free from adversity, I will be happy, peaceful, and abundant. Instead, I will now announce I am happy, peaceful, and abundant with or without adversity.
Good job. Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. So I think I'm going to have to let Rick know I quoted him. So I got to tell you, for me, this was such an eye-opener to kind of, think about how we can apply Rick's insights to what's happening right here, and specifically right here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Ukiah. So here are a few of my own insights that I had as I have been over probably the last month considering what Rick wrote. And the very first one that came up for me was, at this moment, CSL Ukiah may be filled with uncertainty. However, this is our opportunity to remember the divine is always with us, even when we think it is not, including when we don't agree with what needs to happen next. And that for me was just this really big thing, that we can face this adversity when we're willing to listen to each other, to love one another, and to continue to, on some level, want the same thing, which is a thriving center here in Ukiah. And Dr. Holmes, and he's pretty famous for this was another thing I was considering in my insight list, and Dr. Holmes says, never limit your view of life by any past experience. So whether that past experience happened years ago or yesterday, and for us, was a few years ago, we were doing just fine, and things happened. But we are not establishing anything that is based on that. And I think I will tell you guys, I did listen to your workshop, and I didn't listen to everything, but I was like, yeah, they get it. They're moving in the right direction, and we can't have it be because this is the way we always did it, or this thing, we can't do it if we don't do this one thing. None of that is true. Nothing about moving forward is going to be based on what we've done in the past. This is an opportunity to look and to do things new. And it is so easy But I will say, it is so easy to bring the past into the present moment. And if you wonder about that, just think about any conversation you might have had this week where that's what you did. And sometimes it's delightful. Like I had lunch, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago, but I had lunch with Bonnie, and we talked a lot about how our life had been up until now. But it was all looking at what had brought us to this point and how we have this launching pad now and so, yeah, you can totally bring it into the moment, and it can be positive, but you can always go, well, that's never worked. That's a pretty slippery slope. So we need to, as we move forward, regardless, of my involvement here is going to be taking a big step back. Your involvement is taking a big step forward. And we need to be here and support each other through that and encourage each other through that. Because filling this now moment with past leaves very little room for inspiration. And I think what we really want is we want to be inspired about what's coming next for us. We want to really, truly open our hearts and our minds to that. So letting go of what was, and remember, if, when you hear yourself, because I've been practicing this quite a bit the last couple of weeks, when I hear myself kind of going, they always, blah, 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 add the tag up until now. Mm-hmm. It's a really powerful thing. Up until now, this has been my experience. And then follow it with an affirmation of what you're now moving towards. So up until now, this has been really difficult, but starting today, I see my road being made open for me. Something like that. So another insight that I had during this is I'm going to share with you a quote. And when unsure of what to do, maybe try this. This is a quote from Dr. Albert Ellis, and he says, "What is the least I can do in favor of the outcome I would like to see? Do that." End quote. What's the least I can do? Do that. And this is more than what you may personally or I may personally want to see happen here next Sunday. What the new order of service may or may not look like. It's not really it. This is about who and what we want to be in the world. This is the biggest picture that I know for what can I do today to move is our organization's vision statement, a world that works for everyone. And so I do occasionally try to every day think about what can I do today. And it's amazing because sometimes it's small, but it's for the big vision. It could be, I'm gonna cut my water usage, the full 50%. Mary's been helping us with that, with our yard. But whatever it is, that's a small step, but those are the kind of things. And then allow yourself to feel good about it. Know within your heart that if you've accomplished something for that vision. Now maybe we're gonna go with the slightly smaller picture and think about what is it that we truly want for our center here in Ukiah. And I wrote down, and I just wrote this down last night, because if I could have anything unfold here in its perfect way, it would be this: a place where everyone feels safe, loving, and able to add whatever your adjective is. A place that is whole, a place that is spontaneous, a place that is inviting. But my two were safe and loving. And how do we get there? So again, the quote, "What is the least I can do in favor of the outcome I would like to see? Do that." So just think about whatever your word is. I want this to be, so one of mine was I wanted it to be safe and I wanted it to be loving. So for me to do that, I need to make a place in my heart and in my head where every person I talk to or see that are part of this center, that I approach with love, and I approach in a place where they know that they're safe in my head. So, things like that. So here's another quote. I don't think I have an author for this one. Oh, yeah, this was one of the memes that I posted sometimes last week and got huge response, so I'm going to share it with you. Your journey is not the same as mine, and my journey is not the same as yours. But when you meet me on this certain path, may we encourage each other. So that's kind of where I think we are right now. Like, I'm going to be around, and like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But I'm not going to be fulfilling a lot of the capacity I've been doing up until now. But part of what I am beginning to recognize is in this new iteration of how I will be here, it is to encourage you. It is to empower you to do what it is that will bring the center of your dreams into being. So Bob Lucken, who's also sort of a kind of like me, retired minister, he wrote this. He actually wrote it on my Facebook page in a response to a question, but I can't remember which question it was. So anyway, this is what Bob has to say. The seed you plant and water today will grow into something that looks very different from the seed. The transformation of the seed into a plant eventually yields many more seeds. Love is a seed that transforms the lives of those it touches. So for me right now, what I want to do is I just want to plant love seeds as much and as abundantly as I can, knowing that what that seed may end up looking like when it's fully blown may not be what I expected. And I want you all to do the same thing. Just start planting those seeds of love. And Jane Goodall, one of my personal favorite heroes on the planet, she wrote, "You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." So take that in and breathe with that. And, like for me, I've used each of these quotes as a daily launch pad for me during a week or so. So I encourage you to do the same. And it's pretty easy to find these kind of quotes. So particularly if you're on Facebook. You just go to my website. I have like 3 every day. So my page. So anyway. But I also, because like I said, this is my last Sunday in this capacity, I want to share a story with you that was also, something, I think it said at the end of the story, adapted from unknown author. Okay, so unknown author everywhere, thank you for this story. So the story goes like this. There is this little boy, and in this particular story, his name is Martin. And Martin and his parents take a train trip, and it's not a really long one, but a few hours, to his grandmother's at least once a month. And they go and they spend the night, and then they take the returning train home the next day. And he's been doing this most of his life. And now he's kind of gotten to a point, and it never says how old he is. In my head, I'm seeing 8, 10, that age. But he says to his parents, when he knows the weekend is approaching, he says, "I'm already grown up. Can I go to Grandma's alone?" And having been one of those people that put a child on an airplane to go visit people. That's not an easy thing to do. So anyway, I'm sure they talked it over, but after a brief discussion, the parents decided to go with that. And so the day came and they stood with him waiting for the train and waiting for the people to get off the train so he could get on. And so they're giving him those last, don't talk to strangers. If you need something, go to the conductor, all the things that he might need to know. And then and just as they're saying goodbye, the father takes a piece of paper that he's folded up and he sticks it in the boy's pocket. And he says to them, I know that you're going to be fine. Everything that we've told you 1,000 times. But if you feel bad or insecure, this is for you. But only if you're feeling bad or insecure, take a look at that. And so Martin gets on the train alone, waves to his parents out the window, and off he goes. And at first, everything is great. He's having the time of his life. But then suddenly there's people getting up and leaving, and there are new people coming on, and it's noisy, and it's crowded. And a couple of people look at him and just, look at him with great sadness that he's not quite sure what that's about, but like, has he been, and the conductor a couple of times goes back by and even says to him at some point, aren't you a little young to be traveling by yourself? So, but he's sitting there and he's kind of getting, more and more upset. And he's pretty uneasy. And then he starts to cry. And he's just kind of sitting there in his seat and he doesn't know what to do. And he suddenly remembers his father gave him something for just such a moment. So he reaches into his pocket and he opens the piece of paper. And it says in the story, he's trembling. And he has to really kind of takes him a minute to get it open. But as he opens it, he reads it, and it says, "Son, I'm in the last car." So the end of the post was talking about, this is a story about how in life we have to, at some point, let go of our kids, and that we must let them do new things. However, I saw it, from my point of view, and I've had to do that. I've had to let a lot of kids, grandkids, go and, let them try their life, regardless of what I think. But what I saw in this story is the father in the last car is in the last car. And in life, I want to remember that I am never alone. That in the back of my mind, deep in my heart, nearer than my hands and feet, in the very air I breathe, the mother, father, creative, infinitely loving presence is right here, whether I'm aware of it or not. And my only job is to remember that. But in times when obstacles appear and I'm not sure what to do, I need to remember that everything I need is right here. The universe has never deserted me, and it never will. I also started to think in terms of me letting this bigger job for me go. And what I want to tell you guys, all of you, is that I'm in the last car. And so basically what that means, and so I'm going to let you know this now, is for at least until January, I'm still the whatever gap minister, which is any kind of exchange you need to have with CSL. If something needs to be signed, if something needs to be clarified, I'm your gal. And, but as you move forward, and like right before we started recording, we were talking about a couple of things, and I gave my insight on how I think those things need to be handled, and I will continue to do that. But also, like, for those of you who have adult children, know at some point your kids are going to do what they're going to do. And I know that, and I'm going to love you, but I'm here to support you. I'm here to walk on through the remaining times of as we continue to, and I know there's no end time. I get that. There's no end time for when you have to be at your next stage of what the center is going to look like. But as we move towards, a new spiritual leader and stuff like that, just know I'm in the last car. Mm-hmm. And if you need anything, call me. And I know I'll hear from the board. I know I'll hear from Gail. But I'm saying that to everyone. If there's just something you need a treatment, you need you're curious about something, go ahead, call me. And if I know the answer, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll try to figure it out. And so that's kind of where I am. But what I really want us all to remember is what we are here to do is to plant seeds of love and to encourage each other along the way. So let's do that, and let's encourage each other along the way. So join me with the treatment. All right. Take a deep breath. And today I know that there is only one, the highest God, that is the innermost God. The core of each of us is that one. The original creative genius of the universe right now dwells right where each of us is standing, sitting. It's right here, right now. And nothing needs to be added or subtracted because that perfection, that wholeness already exists. So what I know, that just as I am right here in this moment, I am complete. I also know that for all of you. Right where you are, whatever your experience, whatever is going on, you are complete. There is nothing that needs to be fixed, yet everything needed to make these changes or this shift into a new direction, whatever that may be, whatever the choice looks like, it is already within. It is maybe feeling latent and waiting for us and our beloved community to express in new and beautiful ways, but it is there. It is all at hand in this moment. I am in awe, knowing that what is true for me is true for every other person, being, expressing the divine. In this awareness, joy uplifts my heart, my soul, and I know what I know is true. There is only one infinite original source that is springing forth into the awareness of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Ukiah. That one can also be showing up as a myriad of expressions. For it is this that is unfolding in our perfection right here and right now. Each of us is this expression, so we cannot be separate from it, nor can we be separate from one another. Each of us is an outlet and an inlet for spirit. I speak this truth about myself and all others listening. There is only one. It is complete. It is whole. In this bright new moment of inspiration, I release any and all clean to past thoughts that no longer serve. I know for myself that I am free of all limiting beliefs about myself and any others who may walk my path. I embrace the divine creative genius that is what we are, what I am. I stay awake and alert to what the one mind is generating, and I respond. So there is this place for us all where we know ourselves to be the boundless expressions of the divine energy of peace, of love, of compassion, of beauty, and so much more. So gratitude wells up in me as me, and it spills over and uplifts all that it touches as it ripples out and into the world, touching and transforming situations, lives, countless experiences as divine recognizes divine. I am grateful beyond words. And so I release these words, knowing that it is already known in the mind of God. It is already saying yes, and it is fulfilled. So I let this be so, and so it is.
And so it is.
Okay, so take a deep breath. Oh, what do we do now? Oh, the offering. I'm so excited. Okay, so we're going to do our offering affirmation. And so for those of you here in the sanctuary, because we do have, and I may have said this at the beginning, but we are back under some COVID rules where if you're in the sanctuary, you have to have a mask on. There's no hugging. There's no live singing. So solos will be, zooming it in. But for those of us who are here in the sanctuary, there are baskets, and as you're leaving, you can put your tithe or your offering in there. Those of you at home, you know how to get it to us, so just do that. And Mary's she already did. So there's the offering affirmation up on your screen, so say with me now. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies this gift. With all my heart and with all my mind, I know I am saying yes to something I value. With all others present here, we dedicate these gifts to the values and visions we share.
So it is.
And so it is. Okay, so we do have a couple of announcements. The first one is next week there will be a Zoom or a hybrid service as long as we know. But the main thing that you need to know is when you get your newsletter, there's going to be a new link because the church now has its own Zoom account. So check that out, and it'll be in the newsletter. Hopefully by next Sunday, it'll also be on our webpage, but I can't guarantee that. So that's going to be it. We'll probably also post, because on Facebook, on the church's Facebook page, we do, well, Harvey will be doing, but I'll teach you how soon, Harvey. He'll be posting an event, and in that will also be the link. And so you can just go to the Facebook, the church's Facebook page, find that event, click on it, it'll open up for you. So pretty easy, just letting you know. I know that last week you guys were starting to work on service ministry, and Gail, I'm sure, is on that. She's nodding, yes, she is.
Right on it.
So hopefully during each week, there will be some form of a reminder, either in the newsletter or from Gail, email or something, saying, oh, by the way, you're doing the treatment, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, if you're looking for something you want to do, and we are also looking to eventually be able to do full service here at the sanctuary. So if you want to usher or greet is what we call it. If you want to be a greeter, you want to be a hostess, those kind of things, again, speak to Gail. We're still supporting Building Bridges with donations. So if you have things like blankets or paper products, pretty much anything you can think of it's made of paper, they would take it. Cups and plates, napkins, paper towels, all those kind of things. And you have a couple of options. You can drop these off at Teresa and Harvey's house up on Mill Street, or you can take your donation directly to Building Bridges, and you can actually call in. They'll come out and take your stuff away, so it's pretty easy. So let's continue to support them and the good work that they do. The other thing is there is a board meeting next week, which is Sunday, so all the board members, hopefully you'll show up for that. I will be showing up for that. I'm going to Zoom it, so Jack and I will be in here, and so that's how it'll work. And I also just want you to know that next week, the treatment will be given by Gail Rhodes, 2 weeks in a row. She does great treatments. Be sure to come for that. The soloist is actually going to be a group called, I lost it, Rhapsodiva. This is Ginny Reynolds and a group of women who do a cappella. They're probably, because there's also several of them, are going to be Zooming that in. And the speaker is Clovis Lewis. And so it's, and we're not sure yet if he's going to be here or Zooming in. I think it's just going to depend on how the numbers are here in Lake and Mendocino County. Huh? He is Zooming, Mary says. So just letting you know. So now we're going to get to have a closing song from Calvin. So Calvin, take it away.
Thank you, Candice. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. I am the love of God. 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 I am love. I am love. I am the love of God. I am love. I am love. I am the love of God. We are 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 love. We are love. We are the love of God. We are love. We are love. We are the love of God.
Wow, Karen Drucker and Donna Michaels. All by Calvin Johnson. It's a lovely world, isn't it? When you get those kind of musicians singer-songwriters in the house. Gotta love it. So again, thank you so much for indulging me today. And like I said, things are going to look different, but I'm excited. I hope you are. And come next week and hang out with Clovis. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.
Namaste.